You know, guys, we are at war currently, right? And we've been at war. We've been at war for quite some time. I've been saying it for a long time. I've been saying it to friends for years that when the history is written on the subject, that it's not going to be 2022 or 23 that World War III started. No, it's going to have started years previous, right? Because the warfare and the tactics have been being used non-kinetically for years up to this date, and they're starting to get kinetic. Now, not in the sense that traditional warfare is concerned, but in the sense of that you do have brown shirts and communist agitators, Bolsheviks, you know, different groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa running around and beating people and robbing and looting and destroying and maiming and raping and pillaging and, you know, committing acts of terrorism on infrastructure and supply lines and water sources and food sources, so on, so forth. That is terrorism, and that is warfare being conducted, okay? Just because we haven't picked up guns and gone toe-to-toe or stood on one line, stood on the other, or stood behind a rampart or anything like that, just because we haven't done any of that stuff does not mean we're at war. You know, during World War I or World War II, you know that there would have been young men that went through that entire war without firing a shot from their gun, that they went that entire time without killing anybody, right? Some people go to war and never actually go to war. Others go to war and they get all of the action. Just how it is. Just how it is in life in general, right? Some guys have all the luck. Some guys don't, right? Some guys always end up being in the right situations. Some guys always end up being in the wrong situations. Sometimes because you were in the wrong situation so many times that when it comes to a certain point, you actually end up being in the right situation at, so to speak, a wrong time. But because you've been trained for it, it's the right time for you to be there. It's the right time for your presence, okay? You know, this war that we're in right now is informational, right? For the most part. Again, not kinetic, so to speak. But it will be. Someday here, guys, it will be. Right? Because in order, listen, if you think that it's just going to go to court, okay, and they're going to convict them and then have trials, and that they're just going to hang these people or send them to jail, and then we're just going to go back to normal, you're crazy. You're absolutely insane. Not really, but you're naive at best. Okay? No matter what happens, if we get that close, guys, to where we're at in the courts and they're deeming everything unlawful and they have to rescind everything, do you think that that's the end of it all? I mean, if it gets that close where they know they're going to lose, they're going to pull the pin, right? And they're going to send out their white supers, right? Fake fed white supers. Fake white supreme anti-Jabo supers, right? They're going to send them out to cause some problems. And then they're going to send out the Bolshies, the commies, the Markies, the BLMers, the Antifa, right? The transgenders, all of the nihilist organizations out there, they're going to send all those out right at the last minute to cause complete chaos. When they're like, oh, lose everything in the shuffle, losing the shuffle. Oh, now we have to do these things because there's no way around it now. Terrorism is in the street, warfare is in the street. We have to crack down on it, right? If we think that we're gonna go through this without any bloodshed, then we're wrong. Because listen, guys, if we win, okay, to be honest with you, to be completely honest with you, do you think that your bros... Oh, I got a phone call coming in, and the name on the phone number messed me up, so I said bros right there. Didn't have anything to do with bros. When we win at the end of all this, all right, or when it gets close to seeing that we're going to win, do you think that our enemies are going to be like, well, I guess we'll just have to secede and allow them their victory. We're definitely not going to do anything dirty or pull the pin on everything, let the floor fall out from underneath everybody. We definitely don't have a contingency plan or 2 or 3, right? Yeah, they're just going to let us win, guys, without any fight. Again, now our situation might be where we actually do have the upper ground, where we become, living human sacrifices so that people can see how tyrannical this is. That might take place. But I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I figure that they're going to, if we're getting anywhere close to victory, they're going to pull the pin. And they're going to go to war with us officially. They're going to make us terror number 1. And we're going to have to go against them. We're going to have to fight them, or we're going to have to flee from them. Fight or flight. It's going to be what it'll be. Because again, our side, they're just looking to, silence us. They're just looking for us to just walk off with our head down, our hands in our pockets, into the night, into the forest, right? They just figure that we're gonna get on the truck, get off the truck, march into the forest, into the little trench they got dug, and stand there on the corpses of those before us and just allow ourselves to be sacrificed. There's no honor in that. There's no honor in that. And if nobody knows that you are taken out and executed, no one will say, hey, that's wrong. They're just going to say, hey, Jumpins, Peter's missing. Oh, he must have ran off into the woods. I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know what happened to Peter Branscombe and his family. He was unhinged. Oh, look, it appears that we found the burnt-out trailer where Peter Branscombe and his family were residing, and it appears that he has killed his family and himself. Oh, go figure, and the house and all the evidence was burnt down around him. Oh yeah, go figure. I haven't used that tactic before, right? You understand that, right? They are not going to relent, right? Because they know that they're in the wrong. When you know that you're in the wrong, you will do, well, no, sorry, not everybody, but if you're a bad person, right, who is trying to be bad, and you know that you're bad and in the wrong, but yet you know that you're going to get called out and get in trouble for it, well, you'll do anything not to get in trouble. It's not your goal to get caught. It's not your goal to go to prison, and it's definitely not your goal to be honest with those who are trying to put you away, right? There's no peaceful way out of this. Okay? Now, I will say there's a lot of low-level people, which I'm going to put this message out to you. You understand that you're going to be the ones who are burned at the end of this. When they change the narrative, it's going to be you that the mobs are going to be sent out for, right? It's not going to be the politicians or the media who actually gets any kind of recompense upon their head. No, it's going to be your neighbor or your boss or your principal or whoever it was that was in charge of firing people or not allowing people into a store or denying service. It's going to be those people that are going to ultimately end up suffering, those people who wouldn't have made that decision otherwise. But came push and shove, they made the wrong decision. It's not going to be good for you. If you're on the fence, get off the fence. You might as well choose a side, at least choose a side. But I suggest that you get off of the side that you're on, because you're on the side of losers and of Satanists and of pedophiles and of greedy, commie pigs. And there's only one place for a pig, and that's either in a pen of mud and filth or hanging in my freezer. Pete Branscombe out.